The most agonizing conclusions don't always occur in front of the camera. They occur in secret, behind closed doors, where no producer can ease the pain, no spotlight can cover the heartache, and no audience can witness the tears. After decades of appearing to be inseparable, Kyle Richards and Mauricio Umansky are suddenly confronting an unexpected time. Fans are wondering, is it really over? After Mauricio made a difficult decision that left Kyle in tears, we'll walk you through the personal narrative that led to that choice. Tonight, not just the headlines, but the emotions, the love, the hardship, and the lessons it leaves for all of us. Because this isn't just about celebrity heartbreak. It's about marriage, life, and the courage it takes to face change. For many years, Kyle and Mauricio were seen as the very picture of commitment. Something clicked the instant they met in the mid-1990s. They defied the odds, a young real estate agent with drive and a rising actress with Hollywood roots. Their love soon became part of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills history itself. Through homes, children, and reality TV chaos, they appeared unstoppable. Their laughter, family moments, and openness about their marriage made them fan favorites. They were more than a Bravo couple, they were living proof that love could endure the spotlight. But every story has its flaws. And behind the designer gowns and red carpets, challenges began to build. Challenges that would ultimately force Mauricio to make an impossible choice. Together, they raised 4 daughters and built a life most only dream of. Beverly Hills homes, vacations, successful businesses. But behind that dream, something quieter was shifting. The constant filming, the growing demands of the agency, and the pressures of being the Bravo power couple began to weigh on both of them. Mauricio, known for his charm, drive, and intensity, sometimes clashed with Kyle's deeply emotional nature. She's strong, opinionated, and fiercely protective of her family. He's ambitious, competitive, and used to solving problems with action. The issue wasn't love, it was balance. And over time, the foundation they'd built began to strain under the pressure of professional success and personal sacrifice. Even as Kyle kept her radiant smile on camera, close friends noticed something different in her eyes: fatigue, distance, quiet sadness. Mauricio too began to feel it. After years of standing side by side on red carpets, at open houses, and in front of Bravo cameras, he began to admit, privately, that something had changed. Not just in their schedules, but in their connection. He told Kyle he could no longer ignore the tension, the quiet resentment, the small emotional fractures that had grown between them. It wasn't about falling out of love. It was about surviving. He needed space, not from the family, but from the constant cycle that had left them both exhausted. For Kyle, hearing those words was devastating. She'd always believed they could weather any storm. But this felt different. It felt final. When she realized the man she'd built her life with was making a decision she couldn't control, tears welled in her eyes. Mauricio revealed something to her in the quiet of their Encino home that struck her deeply. He said he was afraid. Afraid that if they continued in the same pattern of arguments and tension, they'd destroy what made them special in the first place. Imagine leaving someone not because you stopped loving them, but because you love them too much to keep hurting each other. For Mauricio, this wasn't abandonment, it was a sacrifice. But for Kyle, it felt like the ground had fallen away beneath her feet. She thought of their early years, the laughter, the parties, the nights spent with their newborn daughters, the first, already obeyed filming days when they were just trying to be authentic amidst the chaos. She remembered believing that nothing could shake what they'd built. And yet here they were. Even now, love hadn't vanished, it had simply been tested. And while that realization brought some comfort, it didn't take away the pain. Because no matter how strong a couple may seem, change always hurts. Kyle wept quietly one evening, away from the lights and cameras, not just for the marriage she feared losing, but for the life she thought would last forever. These weren't angry tears. They were tears of longing, pain, and love. That grief, the fear of change, the sting of uncertainty, is something every spouse can understand. And yet, through those tears, something unexpected began to rise in her. A quiet strength. A reminder that she wasn't just a wife or a reality star. She was a woman who had built her own story, her own name, her own voice. For over 2 decades, Kyle Richards and Mauricio Umansky have been one of Hollywood's most beloved couples. Their marriage was a symbol of stability in a world that rarely allows it. But Mauricio's recent decision has shown a different side of their love story, one filled with reflection, humility, and raw emotion. He surprised fans and Kyle when he announced that he would be stepping back from parts of his public life to focus on clarity, family, and himself. The man who built the agency, who was used to being everywhere at once, admitted he needed to pause. Kyle's days look different now. She's filming, navigating family life, and trying to find her new rhythm without the constant presence of her husband by her side. It's a shift that's brought both heartbreak and rediscovery. In a candid moment during filming, Kyle fought back tears as she admitted how hard it's been. "It's difficult to imagine life without Mauricio," she said softly. "We've been through everything together, and now I have to figure out how to do it on my own." That vulnerability struck a chord with fans around the world, because beneath the diamonds and drama, she was simply a woman trying to hold her heart together. Mauricio, for his part, has spoken openly about his love and respect for Kyle. "I never meant to hurt her," he said. "But sometimes, taking a step back is the only way to move forward. I'll always love her. She's my family, my best friend." Messages of love and support poured in from fans who followed their journey from the very beginning. One comment read, "We've watched you both grow up together. Whatever happens, your love inspired us all." And through it all, Kyle has shown strength, quiet, resilient, and deeply human. She's learning that heartbreak and hope can coexist, that endings can sometimes lead to rediscovery. As for what lies ahead, no one knows. Maybe this chapter is a pause, not a period. Maybe time will bring them back together in ways neither can predict. But one thing is certain. Kyle Richards and Mauricio Umansky's story, with all its laughter, pain, and grace, reminds us that even love in the spotlight is still love, fragile and real. And as Kyle wipes away her tears, surrounded by the love of her daughters and the support of her fans, she knows this isn't the end. It's the beginning of something new. Gone were the mornings of shared coffee in the kitchen, the playful bickering about schedules, the comfort of knowing someone else was moving through life beside her. Now, each morning began with a deep breath and a choice, to face the day with grace or to crumble under the weight of what had been lost. She chose grace, even on the days it hurt to smile. The weight of moving forward. Friends rallied around her. Doric Kemsley stopped by often, bringing coffee and gentle conversation. Erica Jane sent messages of encouragement, and Garcelle Beauvais reminded her that this was a season, not a sentence. Yet even with all the support, Kyle couldn't shake the ache in her heart. During one confessional moment, she admitted, "It's strange. When someone leaves, you start replaying every small moment. Every laugh, every argument, wondering if there was a point where you could have changed the ending." Mauricio, meanwhile, had begun to find his footing again. He was traveling, spending time at agency offices in Mexico and Miami, and reconnecting with old friends. Though he stayed out of the gossip cycle as much as possible, the paparazzi still found him, dinners, events, and the occasional photo that made its way to the headlines. For Kyle, seeing those photos was a quiet kind of heartbreak, not because she wanted to control him, but because it reminded her how much life had changed. "It's hard watching someone you love learn to live without you," she confessed to a close friend, "especially when you're still figuring out how to breathe without them." The power of reflection. Yet amid the pain, something unexpected began to happen: clarity. Kyle started journaling again, something she hadn't done in years. In her entries, she didn't write about fame or the show. She wrote about gratitude, forgiveness, and learning to let go. She began to recognize that love doesn't always end because it fails. Sometimes it transforms. What she and Mauricio shared wasn't gone. It had simply evolved into something different, something quieter, a respect, a shared history, a connection that would always exist, even if the shape of it changed. One afternoon, she took a walk through their backyard garden, the same one where they'd hosted countless family gatherings, and found herself smiling through tears. She realized she wasn't mourning just the marriage, but the version of herself that existed within it. And that revelation brought a surprising kind of peace.